Vaughn and County Attorney Nato.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioner Hawkins, will you lead us in the pledge? Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you, Commissioner Hawkins. We have a pretty full gallery this morning. I know we have a bunch of presentations for the commission today, so we will get to those pretty shortly. Commissioners, first thing on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I think the only change that we discussed was moving the 3 presentations to follow the Years of Service Award. So if that's amenable, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda, making consideration of the presentations before the Years of Service Awards.
I will
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Next up is the approval of the minutes from the August 19th meeting. Commissioners are in your packet. If there's any changes, now would be the time. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the meeting minutes of the regular meeting of August 19th, 2025.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving on to public comment. I don't have the list. Is there anyone that would like to give public comment at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda A through D.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, under presentations and reports is item A, Years of Service Awards. Manager Bond.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. We actually have quite a few today. The first one on my list was SCRTA, and 3 years of service is Landon Billieu.
Greg, you're just about to.
Yeah. Thank you. Next, in the Sheriff's Department with 3 years of service is Alejandro Carrion.
He just got called out.
Congratulations. Thank you. Next, also in the Sheriff's Department with 11 years of service is Vincent Apodaca. Next department is detention, and first on the list with 7 years of service is Lourdes Gutierrez.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Next, also in detention with 16 years of service is Ruben Lucero. Next, in administration with 1 year service is Jessica Pena. Yeah, I didn't realize they were in a year. And next, also in admin with 22 years of service is Jordan Miranda. Okay, next in the facilities department with 1 year service is Jonathan Reed.
County staff and all of y'all present here. So I'm here to talk about who we are as a company and the proposed solar and storage facility here in Sierra County. So we'll start off with Arrivan. Who are we? So we're a leading U.S. renewable energy company. We're headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona, with a regional office in New York City. We develop, build, finance, own, and operate our own energy projects. We work with several utilities and unique businesses that are committed to, work with us on getting cost-effective, reliable, and safe energy solutions. We prioritize American manufacturing jobs and domestic energy production by investing in U.S. jobs and advancing the energy's independence in the country. We are a committed long-term community partner. We work with folks in the communities that we build these projects. Move on to the next slide. So here are some stats on there. I won't bore you all with the finer details, but Arrivan has a huge operating pipeline, and we have an even larger development pipeline of all renewable energy projects that we have in the United States. One statistic I would like to point out is that one at the bottom there, the energy equivalent we put on the grid, roughly powers 1.2 million homes in the U.S. annually. Arrivan's leadership in utility scale. So utility scale is where you're working with a big utility and interconnecting at large voltage. We have three major technologies that we deploy. We have solar, standalone battery energy storage, and then a hybrid of the two, which is solar and storage. As you can see some of the stats on the slide there, we have well over 2,800 megawatts of facility under operations. On the standalone solar energy storage, we have about 460 megawatts, and then solar plus storage, we have well over 1,100 megawatts DC and over 500 megawatts AC of storage. So moving on to the proposed solar facility and energy storage facility here in Sierra County. For reference, that's the town of Engel right there, and we're just north of the project, or just north of the town there. We sit approximately on about 1,850 acres of land. That's where most of our project facilities will be situated. We have these land parcels with the landowners under option until 2029, after which we'll exercise the lease, simply using the operations. The operation timeline for this project is roughly 30 years with an option to extend for another 20. We will be interconnecting into the 345 kV El Paso electric line that just clips the project at the top right corner, which I'll show you on the other slide there. And we're likely going to work with the county officials on getting several road crossing and railroad crossing agreements. A little more about who we are and what we do. Once our project's active, this facility will have O&M techs show up on site frequently to make sure that the facility is running smoothly, and also to ensure that all the safety standards are being met. Additionally, Arrivan is pretty huge on environmental stewardship, and so we work in communities. We do our due diligence where we do all our biological, wildlife, and historical artifact due diligence by getting consultants out there to do the studies accordingly. We also make sure that we're taking the appropriate measures to avoid any significant impacts made to the environment. Lastly, it definitely helps with increasing job creation and the revenue at the county level, especially when the project's undergoing construction. On screen is a rough timeline. Tried to compress it as much as I could on slide, but as you can see, if you're to take the project from its inception all the way up to operations, it's spanning roughly about 4 years. Most of it will be the development pipeline. During this time, we'll be working with several consultants, landowners, utilities, and the conservation folks. And then our construction timeline is roughly about 15 to 18 months. And again, these are tentative. We might get through a lot sooner. There might be some significant delays that we may face when we're working with certain parties. And so the project's roughly trending towards late Q2 2029 fully operational date, and that's what we have for now. Here's the proposed project layout. As you can see, it's pretty well spread out. We have a BNSF rail line that runs right down the center there. Everything in black you see is what's going to be covered by solar panels. In the top right, we have three distinct boxes. The green signifies what our battery energy storage facility will look like. That's where all the batteries will be housed in containers out in the open air. And we'll have a substation that will take all the energy that comes off of our project and then transmit it to the red box, which is a switching station that we co-owned and operated with El Paso Electric. And right on the corner there, you'll see the orange line. That's the 345 kV El Paso Electric line that goes through town. So specific asks of Sierra County, I mean, we really have had a great time working with Amber, Travis Atwell, and Ryan here in our asks to the county. They've been pretty responsive. So if we were to elaborate a little more on that, it would be like we'd like to get some clarity on the state and county-owned roads in town. So if we could get access to your GIS map, that would be really helpful. We will have several, road crossing agreements that we would need to have in place working with the county. So any help we can get on that would be appreciated. Permits, we have a pretty good understanding on what we require permit-wise, but it will be our first time working with Sierra County, so we're excited to see where we can collaborate and work on getting these permits. And then lastly, it's not required, but if somewhere down the road we do see a need to potentially vacate any public roads because we'd be creating additional access, we might want to consider visiting that topic at a later time. That takes us through the agenda, so happy to take any questions from the
Commissioner,
commissioners.
any comments, questions?
I've got a question.
Sure.
Thank you for the presentation, it's very informative. I want to personally invite you guys, fixing to have our Sierra County Fair, and then more importantly, the junior livestock sale. This would be a good feather in your company's hat if you go out and support our youth.
Sure, no, that would be great. If we can get the dates to that, we'd love to know
Yes,
exactly what
most
it is. And,
definitely.
I'll talk to you offline.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so very much. Yeah. No, that'd
We
be great.
appreciate it.
Of course, yeah.
Commissioner Hopper, Paxton, any questions?
No, thank you, Chair.
I guess the only question I have is, I'm assuming this is all on private land?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then as far as the GIS, I don't know if Keith is still in here. But Keith would be our GIS guy, he's the one to talk to, he's kind of the guru of GIS for us.
Awesome.
So I think he can probably get that information to you guys whenever you guys need.
Oh, that'd
So
be
just want to put
Yeah.
his name out there. I know you hit on, is there anything additional that we can do as a county to help you guys out? I know Attorney Pato and I talked about, potential LEDA applications or JTIP or whatever you guys need for anything that
Yeah.
needs to be sponsored by the county.
No, definitely. We haven't, ventured into those avenues just yet, but once we look into those and see how they can be beneficial to the project, we'll definitely be reaching out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and if there's anything like that, this commission's been really good about supporting businesses coming to Sierra County with any type of sponsorship or some state funding that you guys may need, or any company
Yeah.
really needs. I think we'd be happy to consider
Sure.
that and look at it.
No, that would be awesome. No, thank you so much for the suggestions. Really appreciate it.
Nothing additional, commissioners? No? Thank you guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we go to item B, the fairgrounds project update, and I believe we have representatives from Pluma in the room, if you can just step up to the podium.
Hello, good morning. My name is Philly Pacheco. I am a general manager at Pluma Construction. Here with me, I have our VP of Operations, Jose Lamato, and we have the owner and our superintendent on the project sitting in the right now. Just to give the quick bottom line up front, we did have a hiring mistake. We have since replaced that project manager who was on the project. But as a result, we did have some gaps in communication with this project, specifically between us and the customer. We've been working with Amber. So at this point in time, I have taken over the project with Jose. And we are managing it at the highest levels of our company leadership. So right now, we are working with our subcontractors to refine the schedule, make sure there's no schedule gaps, make sure everything is ordered and templated to get on site on time. We do not expect the the project to be complete by the end of September or by the state fair. What we are doing is we're working to make sure that the barn is usable for the state fair, what will not be usable at the time of the county fair. What we expect to be prepared for the county fair is the barn. The kitchen bathroom right now is not scheduled to be completed. What our plan is now is we're gonna finish up the HVAC that runs through the barn building. Dominic, our superintendent, has had a discussion with Amber about how we do intend to clean that building out. So it is separate from the construction area so that you have that space. As it stands now, we do expect the project to be done by the mid to end of October. So that does give us about a month later than we had planned on having it done. We are working with subcontractors to make sure that all the dates that we are presenting in the schedule that we will send out to be accurate. I don't want to paint an unclear or incorrect picture for this project, but we are working to refine our practices on this project, give you guys a good product that is to your standard, and make sure that we're not leaving you with anything that's unacceptable. We recognize the delays that we've caused as a result of unclear communication on this project. We are correcting right now, and me and Jose are personally committed to getting this project done as soon as possible and to the standard that's set by the architect and the customer. Pending any questions, that's really all I have for the update.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
I find this concerning because every month we have a county commission meeting, and Amber assures me, all of us, that the project was going to be completed by county fair.
But again, that was due to the incompetence of a project manager that we took on, and we're owning responsibility to that. As per the
I
leaders of
realize
the company,
that.
we're stepping up.
I'm just frustrated because we've been promised and promised and promised it's gonna be completed, and now all of a sudden, 3 weeks out, oh, guess what? It's not gonna be done. So, I don't appreciate that, and I know it's not your guys' fault, it's somebody else's, but.
Well, it ultimately is our fault. We're owning up to responsibility and leadership of it. We will continue and finish the project as per our standards are set high as well.
Sure.
And just so you know, Mr. Hopkins, Amber was relaying information that she thought to be true. The information
Absolutely.
that she was receiving was not the ground truth. So I'll be out here every week with the superintendent for those OAC meetings, making sure that the project is being run smoothly, and that you guys are getting a clear picture of the status of that project.
Got a lot of additional, but I better not.
Vice Chair Paxton, anything?
Yes, I appreciate you coming before the commission today. This is the single biggest event in Sierra County for all our kids. We were guaranteed that there was no problem that this project would be completed. And I find this to be a major failing of your company. I want to be sure that you take responsibility, and I don't care if the manager that you had resigned or was let go. We were led to believe that this was no problem, was repeated several times, that you would meet the September 26th date for this to be useful. Our kitchen amenities gonna be provided, and our toilets that meet the needs of the crowd's gonna be provided. I understand that in the contract, we will adhere to the provisions of the contract, and you're not meeting the deadline. So I'm encouraging Amber and our staff to move ahead with penalties against the company. You guys need to get this fixed yesterday. And although I appreciate you coming today, you need to understand, this is a small county. Our kids are dependent on this facility for once a year, and you failed.
get more involved into the project about 3 weeks ago. I was requesting updates from our project manager once we identified it, and I encouraged him to talk to Amber. I don't know at what point he discussed it with Amber.
And it's my understanding they didn't.
They didn't, I had told him.
We actually found out from an individual in the community that's not affiliated with the county. That's a problem. I mean, obviously there was some communication with someone at some point where the project was not gonna meet the deadline, and the county had to find out second nature. So, well, yes, I'm extremely upset and frustrated that's not gonna be done by FAIR, because this county, this commission has made promises to the FAIR board, to the community, that this project would be done. And it's been, as Mr. Hopkins said, it's been stated monthly. It's gonna be done, the contractor guaranteed it from day one, it's gonna be done by FAIR. And now we look like, for lack of better terms, idiots, because it's not done. And so it's just extremely frustrating. The communication was, I'll just be blunt, terrible from the get-go, that as far as we had to find out from a citizen of our county, not from the contractor. That's extremely disappointing. You know, I think to understand what this means to the county, the promises that we made to our constituents were broken, and that's something that we have to live with because of what we were being told. But also I can see it, and the community and the FAIR board should be upset. They should be disappointed. Those feelings are extremely valid. And whenever I get phone calls from individuals during the fair, whenever I'm at the fair and people pull me aside, you know, what the heck's going on? This isn't done. I guess my question would be, who at Pluma, whose number can I get from Pluma to have them call? Because this is not on the county.
I'll give you my card as soon as we leave.
If you can give me your card, because I know I'm gonna hear about it and I'm gonna get phone calls about it, and I wanna make sure that they're talking to the right individual about why this happened. Because I just wanna make it clear, and Amber and I talked about this yesterday, this isn't on the county. We did our part. This is on Pluma. For whatever reason it may be, I understand you may have had a bad project manager, I get that. It's not on us, it's on you guys, and it's just extremely disappointing. Now we have to do an RFP for bathrooms to be able to provide, you know, restrooms down at that facility. So it's a problem, and I think for the fair board, I know we have some representatives, you guys should be upset, the community should be upset, because, I mean, from day one, no problem at all, this project's gonna be done, and now we have to deal with the repercussions of that. And I just wanna make sure that the county is getting our constituents and our folks the right person to talk to about why this happened.
Yeah, I understand. I understand your frustration, and, you know, I'm not pointing any fingers and saying it was your fault or anyone else's fault. I'm saying it's Pluma's fault. We acknowledge that. If this is broadcasted, you know, they can call me, they can call Jose. I'm not shirking any responsibility of whose fault this project was. Yeah, I mean, I had a bad hire, and I'm pretty new to the entrepreneur game, but I am stepping in to personally manage the rest of this project, so they can call me, they can call him.
And we're willing to help with any kind of bathroom facilities and all that, but at the same time, if we're gonna end up paying liquidated damages, I'm not gonna pay twice. So we're willing to work hand in hand with Amber more than whatever needs to be done.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I know,
And-
you guys are gonna be working with
Yeah.
probably Amber and our county attorney on what that's gonna look like.
And again, aside from tarring feathering this, I mean, we're here taking our lickings, honestly, let's make this happen, we're gonna finish it off.
And I personally
And
appreciate that.
we assume that, you know, the situation as well too. This, me being vice president of the company, this is my livelihood, my license is attached to the company, this is all I know. So I take it personal, and we will finish what we start, we always do.
You know, and I think we appreciate that.
No, we do.
It's not easy standing up here in a meeting.
No.
Totally get that. I totally understand that. I just hope you guys understand what that means for us. You know, I know the designs took a while, the plans took a while. Once we finally got to the part of the project that I like to call the sexy part, right? Walls go up, construction's happening. We all got excited, the community got excited. Now we have to tell them, it's a really nice building on the outside, can't use it, even though we were told it was gonna be usable during the fair. And so it's extremely disappointing. I do appreciate you guys coming out. It's just, I hope we can work together in the after. And so I just, again, wanna just put it out there. The
usable. We need a kitchen facility, whether that's a food truck or whatever, that's on the contractor to provide that, and the restrooms are not available. So we need adequate and quality restrooms that will meet the needs. I want assurances that those are gonna happen.
Thank you, Vice Chair Paxton, and yeah, I think anything at this point, if we can get in writing moving forward, that would be appreciated.
So I will be in touch with both Pluma and the Fair Board to kind of coordinate porta potties, kitchen, all of that information probably after this meeting. And we can discuss that and how we can coordinate that.
And just to follow up maybe for, well, for I think everyone in the room, what sort of, I mean, when the fair's going on, we have a lot of people, there's a lot of things running around. It cannot be an open construction site.
It's
where
not gonna be,
tools
we'll make sure the site's
Okay.
secured, all trenches will be covered up prior to any pedestrian traffic around there.
Okay.
We'll work closely with our sub and we'll assure that.
I just wanna make sure that when the fair comes up, there is no additional.
Yeah, it's
hiccups
bad
that
enough, I
happen.
don't want anybody getting hurt, trust me.
Okay. Can I just-
Commissioner Day, can we speak to, can we address?
Yes, members of the fair board, go ahead.
Okay, do you want us to get up in front of the microphone or?
Can we hear him from there? Okay, go ahead. I think you have a loud enough voice.
Okay, regarding the food trucks, we have our own vendors that will be there, so the kitchen facility is not, as important as the restrooms. And we have been in contact with, manager, and she has assured us between whoever, I don't know who is covering that bill, that there will be, the nice facility bathrooms that we had last year. Our concern would be, at what point can we get into the building, and start setting, we have vendors that will start setting up and marking the floor. Our interns will go in and mark floors so that, also, they can set up all of the booths and whatnot. And then, just another plug, Pluma is also welcome to come to, the sale on Saturday, and that would definitely help with some of the people that are upset. I think that would be a really good
So,
plan.
second tar and feather?
No, this would ease it over. You guys come buy an animal and I think we
Just bring
can
your
handle it.
checkbook.
Just bring your checkbook and come buy a few animals and I think we'll be all right.
All right, we'd appreciate it.
If I may ask a question, Amanda, when do you guys need to be in? What time frame do you need? With September 24th, that's what I spoke to Dominic about yesterday, was September 24th, which was originally the substantially completion date. Would September 24th work to get in there to be able to mark the floors?
Yes, I think so, as long
Okay.
as it's a Wednesday, it's a week.
It's gonna be
before.
next Wednesday.
So as long as if we can just have access to the inside the fairground, just because we have to mark off all the spots and just prepare it for, our community that's coming in to set up their booth space in there. So we just have some preliminary work that has to be done. So I mean, as soon as possible is good, but, we, you know, if it's the 24th, if that's what we can do, then.
That'll work for me.
So
Thank you.
I see some hesitancy, and I just wanna, I know that's between, I guess, you guys, but, I mean, for sure is at 24th.
Well, actually, I was telling him I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw 2 extra set of hands with my superintendent to meet their deadline.
Okay.
So I'm actually working prior to it.
Okay, I just wanna confirm, make sure we're good on that part, so then the fair board can get in there and do what they need to do.
And make sure you extend the invitation to your 2 extra hands and your supervisor about our,
Sale.
Yeah, we'll let the whole crew know, all 30 of them.
Thank
I
you.
want to say something too. Our white construction, we've done probably more than 60% of the work there. I get it, there was a lot of miscommunication. But all I have to say is, there was a lot of hiccup with engineering too, with questions not being answered. And I know Lewis is here today, I don't know where he's at, I saw him. I don't know where the miscommunication was getting responses back, they wanted to change the roof line. I mean, it took us 3 weeks, 4 weeks to decide on a grease trap. You know, nobody could make a decision on that, so I'm not pointing any fingers either, but I'm gonna say that, yes, there was some miscommunication with Pluma and the engineers, but they were on it, we were on it as a company, as RY, trying to stay on top of things. The project started 3 months late than when it originally should have started. So, and again, I'm not pointing fingers, but we have been there trying to make it happen. It's construction, it's the construction They should have told you guys months ago, I knew it, that it was not gonna be ready, and that was a bad part. But I do wanna say, I mean, they took full responsibility for it, and I appreciate that, but there was a lot involved, and I think,
A lot of new people.
like you said, more communication.
Well, and I really do appreciate that, and if there was some, wherever the communication breakdown was, this conversation should have been had months ago.
Yes.
Where if there was communication, and I would even say, from the county standpoint, if there was something that we could have done better, we wanna hear that, and that's literally how this project works, when there's so many moving parts. If no one's talking, that's where these hiccups come in at, and so, I do appreciate that, and I think we understand that, we're frustrated, and very valid feelings of frustration. But again, if there was communication breakdown anywhere in the process, that this conversation should have been had way before what we're having now. So I hope, moving forward in any project we have, that if we run into this issue again, that conversation's had before, 2 weeks before fair, we have to tell the community, sorry, we promised you something, but it's not gonna happen. Because I think that just gives us as a county an egg on our face in the community, and then that's a problem. So, Commissioners, if there is nothing additional, thank you guys so much. I know it takes a lot to have this conversation and do this, so really do appreciate it. I think at this point, we just hope to get the project done in a timely fashion.
Yeah, understood, so.
Thank you guys. Next up, item E is the opioid remediation collaborative update. I believe we have Shauna to give the presentation.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, County Manager Bond, thank you for letting me come back and provide some updates on our project. So the first slide I'd like to talk about is, this is the most recent data that New Mexico has. And some of the good news that we have is that for the last 2 years, the numbers of individuals passing away from this disease is declining. And so in 2022, we had 997 folks pass away from an overdose, over 1,000 in 2021. And in 2023, which is our most recent data, it's 948. The other piece of this really tells us that individuals who are dying from an opiate overdose are not dying from prescription overdose, or prescription opiates rather, that people are not just using heroin, but basically fentanyl is still a big factor. So fentanyl was involved in 65% of the overdose deaths, and methamphetamines, which is 51%. The age groups affected are between the ages of 25 and 64, and the highest concentration of people that pass away, which is 26%, is between the ages of 35 and 44. The other piece of this data is that most of the deaths, 80 to 85%, were unintentional overdoses. So what that means is that when that person was found deceased, there was not a suicide letter that was attached to that. So what this tells us is that we still have a lot of work to do with prevention, providing treatment. There's been some really great advances in medication-assisted treatment for both opiates and also methamphetamines. So that's the good news for that. The next slide is, as soon as my strategic plan is approved, my review, and also my new one, I'll send it over to you as I have in the past. But the highlights from last year is really the last time I was here, I was talking a lot about what I was gonna do. This year, I did it. So our project has been successful in standing up digital resources for individuals with substance use or behavioral health issues, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that. We do have a navigation system through 988. I'll talk more about that as well. We have accessible training videos for medical providers. So, for instance, your rural hospital, if individuals wanted to get up-to-date information on how to help people with substance use issues versus sending them to a different provider, we have that, and it's posted on our website. We have a active safety first class with the juvenile justice system, and that does involve Sierra County. So myself and my team, we met with all of the leaders in CYFD. We have stood up an online Zoom safety first class for individuals and a whole process for referral, which we will be doing to the end of the year. I worked with Destiny in your community to create 3 really great prevention posters. We did our doTERRA disposal pouch project, which I talked about the last time I was here. And we've made some really great updates on our website. We have a quarterly newsletter that I hope you're getting now, and we're actually sending out notifications for our project. So this next coming year, we really want to promote the digital resources and navigation system. We are expanding our reach to our youth, and I would like to come to your county fair if I'm invited, so that we can.
The sales on Saturday.
Okay, I'm very interested in that. So what we've done is we have a youth advisory council that we've started through the ORC, and this is a group of youth that I'll talk a little bit more later in this presentation, but they've created a mission statement and they have goals, and they really want to help us in our 7 counties with this project. Last year we really focused on high school youth for prevention, and this year we want to get a little bit more closer to middle school and elementary school youth. One of the, I think, highlights of this fiscal year is that our first couple of years was obviously an assessment, and then we moved into establishing resources for all 7 counties, but now we're starting to get really county specific. So I'll talk a little bit about what Amber and I have come up with for your specific county. We are working on outcomes because obviously we want to make sure that everything we do is measurable and it's working or it's not. And then we are continuing on our plight to really decrease stigma and create spaces for people to get well. Our individual county-specific strategies for Sierra County are twofold. Number 1 is to improve community education and prevention in the schools and in public access, and what that could look like, it's working to promote our prevention posters. It's going to events to really promote prevention for youth. One of the things that's really exciting is that the ORC is wanting to pay for families and youth. I know you have perhaps a declaration where you have money slated to cover the student going to sporting events, but I'd like to talk with Amber kind of offline and see how we can actually take care of all of the expenses with that and include the families, because when kids go to and families go to sober events, it's a real great opportunity for prevention discussions to happen. When it comes to improving access to medication-assisted treatment and exploring telehealth, I have some ideas about that. A lot of people do telehealth services, but when it comes to people that have substance use services, it is really best recommended that you can do telehealth services, but you would like to have some type of mechanism where that person who's doing telehealth is actually seen at least every 30 days in person. The other piece to this is we would want to team up with a lab or perhaps your rural hospital here, where we could actually be collecting specimens for the UAs, for the individuals doing telehealth, because checking whether if someone is using or not is a big part of that piece. So in other rural communities, what people are doing is really establishing relationships with a rural hospital, and that telehealth provider who might be operating somewhere else might pay a monthly fee to access their labs, access a space for people to be seen. So I look forward to exploring some of these opportunities in Sierra County. Another thing that we are working on, which is the LC7 Senate Bill 3 assessment. So this is a pretty big deal in New Mexico. What will happen after that is a pretty deep dive in regards to, focus groups and community listening sessions, very similar to what I did when I actually started this project. So we're going to be assisting this region in making sure that we can get as many dollars as possible. So what we're promoting right now is our digital resources. This is an app. I talked about kind of the concept of it the last time I was here, but it's actually up and running. We have 2 functionalities of this app. One of them is for the person who is seeking care or treatment. What this app does for people is that there are some people who don't want to see a therapist. They don't want to be engaged with the behavioral health system. And what this app does is it provides screening. So if someone is concerned about their using or drinking or using any types of drugs, I have created screenings that are best practice that people can use, and then it rolls up to perhaps recommendations. On this app, Sierra County's community resources are all uploaded so that local resources on a tile are presented. We have videos people can participate in, community meetings people can participate in, and different learning opportunities for that. The other side of this app that I just completed, which I'm really excited about, is that early on in this project, a lot of folks talked about people who were using drugs or alcohol, but we kind of sometimes forget about the families that are really dealing with this. And this app does the same thing for individuals who might be having someone in their life that has a drug or alcohol issue.
Sorry.
So there's groups that people can attend, there's resources that people can get, and in the month of September, we're doing a big blitz with behavioral health and substance use providers for all 7 counties, where I have the vendor who's gonna be co-facilitating a meeting with me, and we're gonna actually teach people how to get people uploaded onto the app. Right now, I have 31 people on the app, so I get a report and I can see how many people are being uploaded. I'm gonna watch that very closely, obviously, hoping to get as many people as we can possible. And one thing I would like to say is that when I initially started this project, a lot of folks said to me, well, you know, you're gonna be speaking to perhaps older people, they're not gonna be interested in this app. The numbers that I have on these 31 individuals, everybody's over 55.
Really?
Yes, so this app can be accessed. It really just takes time, and you know, it's something that is a really powerful, I think, resource for people that, again, don't want to be tied to a behavioral health system or just want help. And it can also, you know, the therapist who's working with them could also use that as a tool. So the next navigation system that I talked about the last time, we do have a contract with 988, and this afternoon I'm going to be meeting with all the leads in law enforcement to talk about kind of where are these calls going, how many calls are we getting, so on and so forth. 988 is a number that can be used, it's across the nation actually, and it is a crisis number. So people who call that number will be perhaps seeking resources or they're in crisis. 988 is really also kind of shifting their focus to ensuring that people get to the resources they need to. So that's the relationship that the ORC has with 988. I have just a couple of numbers to give you for the last 3 months. So I received a report of total interactions. And so for the month of May, there were 31 total interactions from Sierra County. And what that could look like is someone texting, it could be somebody calling, okay? Clinical interactions is when that person reports being either homicidal or suicidal and requiring a clinical assessment. In May, 25 of those calls required that. So that's relatively high. So that means that basically most of the people who are calling 988 from your county are at a place where they're at risk of perhaps hurting themselves or someone else. None of those calls resulted in EMS being sent out. 6 of those calls identified themselves as having a substance use issue. And basically none of those calls accepted our outbound support. So that tells me that I really need to do a lot of work on encouraging that through law enforcement, through behavioral health services, because it can act as a system to help people get services. In June, you had 19 calls. In June, 9 of those calls resulted in clinical interactions. EMS was called out 1 time. None of these individuals identified themselves as having a substance use issue, and again, there were no requests for outbound calls. In July, 16 calls were made. 13 of those calls resulted in clinical interactions. EMS was called out 1 time. 2 of those callers identified themselves as having a substance use issue, and again, the outbound calls were not something that someone accepted. So this is just good information, and I really look forward to working with your teams to see what we can do when these calls occur how quickly we can get them to a behavioral health system in Sierra County so that that person can get help immediately. This is our Youth Advisory Council update. So we do have 5 individuals from all the counties. I don't have a representative from Sierra, but I'm going to be reaching out to Destiny to see if there's someone that she's working with that would be interested in that. But we have a team of youth who are very committed to a mission. They have goals. We partnered with NMSU because NMSU has a national organization called Youth Move. So whatever we're doing, we really want to attach ourselves to what people are doing nationally with advisory councils. Our goal this year is to have at least one youth event in all 7 counties in 2026. And basically, they're also going to be a team of individuals who are going to advise me on how I can make my website more youth-friendly, in addition to actually creating a youth app. So that's the next step that I'm going to be working on in the next couple of months, and they're going to be the individuals that guide me on that. My last slide is just identifying what we're doing with Safety First. I really did try very hard to reach out to our schools in all 7 counties when it came to trying to stand this up in the schools. I wasn't successful. I think schools are really struggling with time and not having enough time for kids to be able to do what they need to do. And so what we did as a team is we took a different approach. I met with CYD, all the leaders with them, all the probation officers in all 7 counties. We created a referral process, and we are basically providing this class every week in the evening. We also purchase hotspots, so if kids don't have connectivity, they can get them loaned out. So we want to make sure that we have proper inclusion into the program. And we successfully just finished our first round. It's an 8-week course. 6 kids graduated successfully. So that's our end game, is to not only do this for our youth, but to also start to do train the trainer options in our county so that there's that local option as well. Any questions?
Commissioners, comments, questions?
No, sounds like you're having a good response. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, I was shocked at 55 and over
Yeah.
on the app. I was mind-boggled. Do you have that?
I can get you that information.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Paxton, anything?
That was awesome. You better beat this.
No, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Shauna. We gotta go back up to department reports, commissioners, and so we'll start out with the sheriff.
So I'm gonna keep it quick because it's already been a long morning, so not a whole lot to report, just gearing up for legislative session that's already starting. I think I've got some proposed ordinance changes with attorney payroll later in the meeting, and outside of that, I'll stand for any questions.
Commissioners, comments? Questions? No? Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
Billy?
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chair, Manager Vaughn. We've been trying to do as much regular grading as possible, but the flood's been keeping us pretty busy just trying to get people in and out of their properties. And we got quite a bit of problems up in Brenda. We're trying to work with some insurance on that. I'm not sure where we're at the moment, but we're still.
We received approval to replace the cattle carts. That was
Okay. We were approved for the PPF for Sugar Sand Bridge for the 2nd phase, which is 3.6 billion. So that's pretty good news. We did some leveling out there in Brenda. We got some roads fixed that, we're needing some material on top. There's lots of solid rock. We're having a hard time blading it, so we got a bunch of that fixed up. We got a cattle guard installed in Hillsborough.
lot of discussion with DFA and updates with the now passed surcharge. They're gonna start paying for maintenance costs on our CAD systems, which could save thousands for each dispatch center, in the state of New Mexico. Unfortunately, it's not this year, but starting next year, that's something that'll be saved. Also, we're working on, again, the reclassification of 911 dispatchers as first responders. We had a huge victory last week when the U.S. House Senate passed the Enhanced 911 Act to reclassify 911 dispatchers under protective services. So on a national level, it passed that chamber. So we may actually get it passed nationally before we do state. So, but we are still get work on it during legislation, so that's one of our number one priorities. Next SCRTA board meeting will be October 9th, and that's all I have.
Comments,
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you, Mickey. Keith?
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Manager Bond. Not a lot going on. We had a couple of kind of exemptions for the month that were submitted. I have been working with the city of TRC where I've identified 3 or 4 different areas in the city that need to have address corrections done. They are sending out in their utility bills some notices to residents that they may or may not receive a letter that says they need to update their address. There's not a lot, but it will be done in about 2 to 3 phases over the next 6 to 9 months to give everyone enough time to get those addresses corrected. Other than that, just maintenance. Our IMSAG to my data, right now we're sitting at about 97% accuracy, so that's good. We're definitely in the meeting of the requirements, so that's a first for quite a while. With that, I stand for any questions.
Well, thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Ryan?
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners, Manager Vaughn. I had to trim my report down significantly so I don't get in trouble with the sheriff. So we had 4 departments apply for the fire protection grant fiscal year 26. That will be for apparatus equipment and then a possible training facility down in Caballo. The Henry Pass project, the fencing work is complete. The fencing had to be extended to provide for the new footprint for the solar array up there. The solar array brackets and that project will start now, which is good. We're on a roll now, we're moving forward. There's a new platform. Manager Vaughn and I have explored, did numerous demos on it and signed a contract. It's called TextMyGov. I'll provide a further report for it later on. It's pretty extensive. It's actually even pretty hard to explain what the capabilities it has, but it's an alerts and notifications system. It's currently used Code Red, but when you receive a reverse 911 message from Code Red, it comes up as an 855-866. So your cell phones automatically label it as potential spam. So what happens is we lose our target audience. TextMyGov is a sole source provider for alerts and notifications that will have a 575 number, but it also engages citizens and residents. Like we can do surveys on it. We can do in-house work processes and work tickets with it. We can get surveys from the residents, like if there's damage reported within the county, they can send nearest address and photos and name, and it'll actually locate it on a map and have like a work history. It saves us a lot of legwork. It'll help out, say, the road department, the Office of Emergency Management, but I'll do a formal presentation on it for you because you can see just the way it is. But Manager Vaughn and I feel it'd be a great tool for the county. You can also use it for polling and elections. Grant County currently uses it for that. Hobbs uses it for a multitude of activities. And it's really good because you can also do like a Q&A thing where citizens can text, hey, for example, what are the landfill hours? And it'll provide them the landfill hours. There's QR codes and there's integration with Facebook from our website. So it'll just streamline some processes and help folks and cut down on call volume. But I'll put together a presentation. I haven't even launched it, and we're still waiting to do the introductory call. So it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. Even when Amber saw it the first time, she said, that's not what everything you said it was it? Because there's a lot on it. Great platform. and very cost effective for what I've been paying for with Code Red. So looking forward to use it. Last Monday, September 8th, we rescinded the burn ordinance, just due to some significant and then some kind of gradual moisture that we've received. So we felt it was appropriate to go back to our daily, day by day, no burn or burn days. Just a lot of the counties around us have rescinded it. The state rescinded it too last week, their burn ordinance. So we follow suit, and it just kind of works appropriately to our dispatch centers, doing day by day with all the municipalities in the county. And as Commissioner Hoffman wants to know, precipitation forecast, hopefully we get something in the next 4 days. We got cool with temps though, so
Chance today.
fingers crossed, sir. That's the end of my report. I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Next, we will go to Jessica. At least she has something to present.
Just a little quick announcement. Finance is really close to being fully staffed again. I just want to introduce our newest CPO for Sierra County, Ms. Barbara Bencomo. She's joined our team a couple of weeks ago and hit the ground running, already working on a couple of RFPs for Sierra County. Barbara brings extensive executive leadership experience in local government. We're super, super excited to have her on our team. And on Monday, we have our new AP accountant starting. So really excited to have our team back again.
Good.
Well, welcome.
Yes.
And I apologize for Commissioner Hopkins' behavior. It's not what you did. You've got it. I don't know.
We're not sure.
No, it's just I apologize for all of our behavior. That, Manager Vaughn, anything you want to report?
Don't have anything to report today, thank you.
Commissioners, anything?
No, I would just like to congratulate our youth. We had several 4-H and FFA members participate at the New Mexico State Fair this year, and they did very, very outstanding. I think 4 or 5 kids made the sail up in Albuquerque, and I know we had like some reserve breed champions. So congratulations to all those kids who participated. We're proud of you.
Vice Chair Paxton, anything you want to present?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, Commissioners, moving on to the Board of Finance. Item A is the August reconciliation. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve.
Mr. Chair, I move that we,
Go ahead, Jim.
go ahead, Hank.
I move to approve the August
Mr. Chair, I move that we.
Oh my God.
I second.
All right, so I have a motion from Vice Chair Paxton, a second from Commissioner Hopkins. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to old business. We'll get through the meeting, I promise. Old business, excuse me. The amended Sierra Vista Hospital Drug Powers Agreement, Attorney Bateman.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I apologize for getting this to you so late yesterday. I received it late yesterday afternoon from Elkin Butte. I have had an opportunity to review it though, and I'd like to run through the changes with the board. This amendment addresses Elkin Butte's withdrawal from the JPA, and it's for that purpose. It also fixes our JPC, so it takes it from whatever unwieldy board we presently have to a 5-member board, and it does the same with the governing board. So hopefully that'll facilitate the operations of the hospital. Elkin Butte is going to continue its contributions that it's promised in support of the 2016-2018 loans, that 0.125% of the municipal GRT and the 0.0625% of the municipal infrastructure GRT will continue to be pledged for the repayment of the 2016-2018 loans. They will no longer be financially responsible for further commitments and obligations of the hospital. They voluntarily and expressly waive and relinquish all rights, titles, and interests they have in the hospital. That interest will be disseminated to the city, the county, and the village, consistent and commensurate with our existing ownership interests. So that will increase the county's interest to 47.06%, the city's to 47.06%, and the village of Williamsburg's to 5.88%. And I stand for any questions the board might have regarding the draft JPA.
Commissioners, comments, questions? One question, maybe this is a question for the future, but how, if the council was to change Elkin Butte and they wanted back in, what would that process look like?
We would do another amendment to the JPA. We'd have to
go to each of the entities and we have to agree to the revision of the percentages of ownership and so forth. So I don't believe it would be too terribly problematic to do, and I hope that maybe you'll reconsider and maybe come back in the future.
Well, then that's just why I asked what that process would look like, because I think in the future, whether it's this election or the next one, I'm hoping that eventually LPD is gonna wanna come back. And so just as long as we kind of have an understanding that there's gonna be a process moving forward that you.
Yes, sir.
But I think, honestly, I think one of the best things out of this, and the really good thing about it, is it drops the JPC down, to 5 members, and then I believe the governing board down to 5
That's
members.
correct.
And so we're going from, what, 21 people right now to 10?
Yes.
To manage a hospital or
Yeah.
have oversight of a hospital, so I think it's a really good thing. Yeah, I think it's less personalities, I think it's less opinions, I guess I'll say it that way. So I think this is really good. So commissioners, anything additional?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I would like to commend Dave Pato. There has been a disconnect with the Elephant Butte attorney, and getting stuff out of him is like finding hen's teeth. And Dave Pato has carried this process, including coordination with New Mexico Finance Authority. And I just really appreciate his efforts. I think we are gonna come to a good and reasonable conclusion. It's just, this has been a interesting process of trying to get the 4 entities of the JPC to communicate, and Dave has really carried the ball on this, so I appreciate his efforts.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Paxton, I want to thank you for the commendation. I also want to express my appreciation to the Open Butte Attorney Ben Young and to Jay for their partnership in revising this draft JPA. And I think the challenges reflect the difficulties of having an organization like the JPC where you have so many different members, and in a governing board where you have so many different members. I think once we shrink it down, hopefully that'll alleviate some of that burden. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion from one of you, whoever wants to make it.
Jim, go ahead.
Jim, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the amended Sierra Vista Hospital Joint Powers Agreement, and I believe it's the 3rd amendment.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the amended Sierra Vista Hospital Joint Powers Agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Going on to new business, item A is road closure request for Spaceport Authority for the unmanned aircraft test, and we'll go to Manager Vaughn.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So Space for America is requesting to close down a road for an unmanned aircraft test. The road to be closed would be AO 21 at Spaceport between the front gate and Prizer Hill. This has gone through the Sheriff's Department as well as Ryan, and they both approve of this, and so that is what's on the agenda.
Any questions? No? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve, road closure request, Spaceport Authority, unmanned aircraft test.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the road closure request. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Going on to item B, records destruction, the treasurer's office. We'll go to Manager Vaughn.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So the Treasurer's Office has done submitted their destruction list to the state of New Mexico to get items destroyed that are in their office that have met the retention period. Within your packet, there is a list of all of those that will be destroyed in the years that they are for. And requires the Commission's approval to move forward with the destruction.
Commissioners, if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion. We'll go to Jim.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the road destruction.
The record destruction, just want to clarify that.
I'm sorry, record destruction. Yes, sir.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the record destruction. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Going on to contracts, agreements, and procurement. Item A is the intergovernmental agreement between Doñana and Sierra County for the housing of adult detainees. Go to Manager Vaughn.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So this is agreement between Doñana County and Sierra County to house our adult detainees. In some instances, we do take our adult detainees to Doñana County. The cost per day is $120 per detainee per day, and that is also increased every year depending on the consumer price index.
Commissioners, I will entertain a motion if there's no questions.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Transportation Project Fund Grant Agreement. I'm sorry, am I on the wrong one?
That was the cost of care, wasn't it?
The IGA,
The
so it's
IGA,
nine
the
years.
intergovernmental agreement.
On my agenda.
Oh, yeah, you're here.
Sorry about that. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Doñana County and Sierra County for housing adults detainees.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Going on to item B is the amendment to the contract between Doñana County and Sierra County.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, and Patrick's probably gonna kill me for doing this, but I'm gonna ask that we table this item because there's not sufficient specificity on the item. And I didn't catch that beforehand when I reviewed the agenda, and I apologize, but we'll make sure we add it on to the next agenda. This is to increase the cost of juveniles from 200 to 475 a day. I believe we have another, contract in place with Bernalillo County, for housing juveniles, and I don't believe that we have any juveniles presently housed, so I think this can wait to the next meeting, and we can get a notice properly, so I apologize.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to table the item.
Mr. Chair, I move that we table the contract.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to table the amendment to the contract. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Going on to item C is the mutual aid agreement between the U.S. Army, Garrison, White Sands Missile Range, and Sierra County. We'll go to Ryan.
Morning again. Yes, Chief Garza from White Sands Missile Range at the Army Garrison reached out. We're fortifying our mutual aid agreements. We haven't had any in the past, and we're kind of doing it with all of our surrounding counties, but also over there with White Sands Missile Range. They ran into a little snag of trying to provide some support for the fires and flooding in Ruidoso, and then the Army Garrison realized that they don't have fully executed agreements, they couldn't send resources. So this will benefit both the county and over there. So if they have an incident on that part of the range, or it could be an aircraft incident, our resources to assist, and vice versa. Also, they want to provide some annual training to our fire departments, unexplosive ordnance training, a bunch of other good stuff, and it'll help with our planning process. So, yeah, I think it'll be a good help thing to make sure that we're improving our agreements with our neighbors.
Commissioners, comments, questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the mutual aid agreement between the U.S. Army Garrison, White Sands Missile Range, White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico, and Sierra County.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the mutual aid agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Going on to, thank you, Randy. Going on to item E is the Transportation Project Fund Grant Agreement, the mutual and financial plan between Sierra County and APHIS. I'll go to Manager Bond.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. This is our annual work and financial plan between the Department of Agriculture, Animal Plant and Health Sciences, Wildlife Services, sorry. This has already been budgeted and in the budget. This is just to sign the agreement.
Commissioners, comments, questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the mutual aid, the working financial plan between Sierra County and APHIS for fiscal year 25 and 6.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the work and financial plan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to item B is the Transportation Project Fund Grant Agreement between New Mexico Department of Transportation and Sierra County. Manager Bond.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. As Billy alluded to earlier, this is the TPF funding for Phase 2 of the Sugar Sand Bridge. This is a 3-phase project, so this will be the partial construction. We received $3.4 million from the state. The county has a $183,000 match, which will be on the budget adjustment next commission meeting.
Commissioners, comments, questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Transportation Project Grant Fund Agreement between NMDOT and Sierra County.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the grant agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes.
board, you have before you a draft amended, ORC JPA. This JPA, streamlines the process by which additional members can become, or additional participants become members of the ORC. We have, the Village of Los Lunas, the, county of Grant, and Luna County considering, joining the ORC. Right now, it would require that it go to each of the participating members, much like the SDH JPA, to bring them on. And so rather than doing that, this JPA creates a process by which the ORC board itself can approve the onboarding of these additional participants in exchange for their committing their opioid remediation, litigation, funds. So, I stand for any questions the board might have.
Commissioners, comments, questions? Entertained motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the amended opioid remediation collaboration joint powers agreement.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the joint powers agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving on to item G is the agreement with RY Construction for the Poverty Creek Fire Department. We'll go to Manager Bond.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So we went through an RFP process for the Poverty Creek Fire Department, and it's been completed. RY Construction will be the awarded bidder. The cost is $239,407.91 plus applicable gross receipts tax. Currently, we are working on the draft of the contract, and I'm requesting this item that you authorize myself to execute that contract once it has been finalized. Thank you.
Commissioners, comments, questions?
Mr. Chair, if I might, I just wanted to commend, Ryan and Amber and RY for their participation in negotiating the cost of this contract where it brings it within our budget. So I wanted to express my appreciation to all three. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the RY Construction Poverty Creek Fire Department.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve and authorize the county manager to execute that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving on to item H is your approval of the unauthorized purchase for rescue tactics. Manager Bond. Oh, sorry, we'll go to Jessica.
Good morning, Commissioners, Manager Bond. Pursuant to Sierra County Procurement Code 2.45, we're bringing forward your, or a request for approval on an unauthorized purchase made in, May of 2025 to Rescue Tactics and Training, in the amount of $8,076. And, now I'll turn it over to Travis Atwell for additional information or any questions.
Morning, Commissioners. This is following the Swiftwater rescue training that we put on in May. Sierra Vista Hospital participated in both classes, Ops and Tech. And afterwards, we found out there was an oversight out of their department that a requisition was never issued. So now we're asking for approval to go ahead and pay the contractor. So it's just an oversight on their side, and they're assured that it won't happen again.
Commissioners, comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Chair, I move that we approve the unauthorized purchase for rescue tactics.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Moving on to resolutions, ordinances, and proclamations. Item A is resolution 2025-73 FY26 budget adjustment. We'll go to Jessica.
Just a small budget adjustment this month. First, we're correcting, a budget line item for some NMDOT funding, so we're just amending that to actuals. And next, we're making a transfer in the amount of $865,000 from our legislative appropriations fund to the general fund. This is, related to funds that were transferred at the end of the year to true up the fund balance when we submit our budget. We did some reconciliation within that fund and found the additional $865,000 that we can reallocate. On top of that, the previously presented agreement for our TPF, those funds will cover that match amount.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 2025-73 for fiscal year 26 budget adjustment.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item B is resolution 2025-74 ordering the imposition of the 2025 property tax rates.
Good morning, Commissioners and City or County Manager. Before you guys have the 2025 proposed tax rates from DFA. and then pass those on over to the treasurer so that they can prepare the 2025 tax bills.
Commissioners, comments, questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Go ahead.
As it relates to this, I wanted to thank the Assessor's Office for their careful attention. When we received the initial tax rates from DFA, it did not include the increment for the Sierra County Arroyo Flood Control District or the Sierra County Flood Commissioner. So we've had numerous conversations with folks at DFA and TRD, and we're able to get that straightened out and have before you a correct certificate for approval.
Correct.
Okay, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, before you do,
Go ahead.
I do, because when these things come up every couple of years, the commission has been accused by individuals of raising taxes, and I want it stated for the record that during your and my tenure, we have never voted to raise taxes. These are tax changes that are imposed due to property values increasing by the state, and we simply agree to implement them.
Thank you for that, Vice Chair Paxton. If there's anything additional, that'd be the time. Not, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, with that, I would move to approve Resolution 74, ordering the imposition of the 2025 property tax rates.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Item C is Resolution 2025-75, approving additional compensation for the Sierra County Assessor pursuant to NMSA 1978. We'll go to Attorney Pano.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have before you a draft resolution providing additional compensation for certification for employees of the Assessor's Office as well as the Assessor himself. The legislature increased those amounts that are available for the appraiser certificates. $750 for an appraiser 1, $1,750 for an appraiser 2, $3,000 for an appraiser 3, and $3,500 for an appraiser 4. Normally, we could not increase or decrease the salary of an elected official during their term of office. But we took this issue before the 7th Judicial District Court. Judge Woods ruled that all the compensation here is cumulative, which means that if you have an appraiser 2, you get the $750 plus the $1,750. He ruled that it's consistent with legislative intent. It does not violate Article 4, Section 27 to provide that midterm. So this resolution would provide the increase to the assessor as well as the officials within the appraisers in their office that have achieved and secured those certifications. And I stand for any questions.
So just one point of clarification.
Yes.
So if they're an appraiser 4, they get the $3,500 plus everything below.
That's correct. It's cumulative, and both the legislative and the statute's clear that that is cumulative, and Judge Woods confirmed that in his rule.
Okay, so and I'm glad you mentioned that because I had a conversation with the assessor, and I was told, it may have been just miscommunication, that it would only be if you're an appraiser 4, you get the $3,500.
No, it's going to be $9,000.
So it's going to be $9,000 if you're an appraiser 4.
Yes.
Okay, that's a significant jump. I was under the assumption it was if you're an appraiser 4, you get that $3,500. Do we know if the assessor is available?
He is.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not certain. I haven't confirmed. I believe that this may be permissible use of the assessor's 1% fund, and so we can request that those additional expenses come from their fund if the board so.
Commissioners, while we're waiting on that, I guess for Attorney Baker, we just go to item D and then come back.
Yes,
to that?
absolutely.
Okay, so Vice Chair Paxton, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for the assessor to come in. We're gonna go to item D next. So
Okay.
item D is a direction to publish the title and general subject matter ordinance for 2025-005, amending and restating the Sierra County Solid Waste Ordinance, and we'll go to the attorney.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and here the sheriff's come in. Maybe I'll turn it over to the sheriff so you can introduce the basis for the amendment.
Yes, sir, Commissioner. This is due to numerous complaints from Sierra County residents about some properties that we're having trouble with trash and blowing trash on. In reviewing our current solid waste ordinance, refuge and garbage is not included in that ordinance. And so it's mentioned in the definitions, but there's no ordinance that actually applies to it. So for enforcement, we're left with basically the littering statute, and which is narrow
So we're expressly prohibiting the accumulation and disposal of refuse and household waste, and then we're removing references from the ordinance that are not defined in state law. So those are the only changes that we're making to our solid waste ordinance.
And for clarification, this is just direction to publish it.
That's
We'll
correct.
take
We'll
it
have
out
a
of the
public
public
hearing
hearing
next
next
week. Yes.
Commissioners, is there a motion on the direction to publish the ordinance?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the direction to publish title and general subject matter of ordinance number 2025-005, amending and restating the Sierra County Solid Waste Ordinance number 23-02.
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second to go ahead and publish the proposed ordinance. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Commissioners, we'll go back up to item C. We have the assessor. We're just looking for some clarification. Cause I know we talked yesterday about that 3,500 that you're
Yeah.
appraiser for. You would
And
just get
basically,
3,500.
I thought that was the allowance of the commissioners to be able to choose where they wanted to go with that. And I wanted to keep it with the same level as the appraisers we have in the office. It's been across the board that for quite some time. And then that could be negotiated further down the road.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I might, so the question that the chairman has is, he said that based on his earlier conversation with you, that he understood that it was not cumulative. But I'd advise that both the ruling and the statute provides that those increases, those certifications are cumulative, so that if you have an appraiser 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's a $9,000 stipend that you'd receive rather than a $3,500 stipend for an appraiser 4. Are you following what I'm saying?
For maximums.
For maximums,
It says
right?
correct. We could put our own, I believe we.
I think-
right there.
That's correct.
Yeah,
You
but
can.
I think if the maximum, I'm just going off that $3,500 maximum. So
Right.
if you're an appraiser 4, it says here that the maximum compensation you can get is an additional 3,500. And what we're hearing is that it's 3,500 max plus the compensation for appraiser 3, 2, 1, which are total $9,000 additional compensation if you're an appraiser 4.
I misunderstood that, Dave.
Oh,
I
no.
absolutely misunderstood that. I thought we were trying to, they could set the level of where we were going, which is, we were following this. But I understand the cumulative. I think it's something we need to work towards instead of jumping automatically, because it's quite a jump, because it'd be 4 in one department right now, just like that.
So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Houston, do you have a recommendation for the board as it relates to those 4 items? Do you wanna propose a different maximum, or how would you like to approach that?
And
Mr.
I don't think it has to be done, I mean, I guess the question, does this have to be approved absolutely today?
No.
Okay, and then my question is, I think if we can work through some of that and.
Yeah, I think so. I think
And just so that whenever we see it as a commission, we have those figures in there instead of the commission setting the rate and then you're unhappy with it or, you know, it's more than you were hoping for, you know, kind of thing, just to see the numbers before. Cause I'm just going off that $3,500 amount, cause that's a maximum.
Okay.
Is that amenable? Would that be?
It is.
Okay, yeah, we can just work on those numbers and that way we have the final resolution.
We'll have that for next meeting,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, so we're good with it, we'll table it, come up with some numbers based on kind of where it falls.
And I'll discuss the
budget.
table.
Yeah, and work with the attorney and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll entertain a motion to table.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve I move to table resolution number 2025-75, approving additional compensation for Sierra County assessor pursuant to NMSA 1978.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve, or to table, excuse me, the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up is executive session. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we go into executive session by section 10 through 15, E through H, pending and threatened litigation, Mendoza versus the Board of County Commissioners.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to go into executive session. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Paxton?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes.
We're in executive session.
I'll get it.
out of executive session. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to come out of executive session.
I have a motion. I will second that. Madam Clerk, will you please have a roll call?
That's you.
Commissioner Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Paxton?
Hold on.
Oh, gosh.
We all just need to go home.
We do, I was all, wait, my brain just went totally dead. What the heck? Are you there?
So we have a motion, a second to come out of executive session. We're doing a roll call.
Are you ready to come out of the meeting? You need a motion?
No,
We already have one. We just need a yes vote from you.
Yes, vote.
Commissioner Paxton?
Yes.
Commissioner Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There's no action out of executive session because we would not get through it. Our next meeting is scheduled October 21st here at the Commission Chamber. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
A motion to second, we're adjourned.